November 26 has unique historical significance as it was on this day in 1949 that the Constitution was adopted and thereafter came into force on January 26, 1950, marking the beginning of India as a republic. The government celebrates Constitution Day on 26 November every year to commemorate the adoption of the Constitution of India. The Constitution is a set of written principles and precedents of the Government of India that frames fundamental political principles, procedures, rights, directive principles, restrictions, and duties of the government and the citizens of the country. The Constituent Assembly met for 166 days spread over 2 years, 11 months and 18 days before the Constitution was adopted. The members of the Constituent Assembly signed 2 handwritten copies of the document, one each in Hindi and English, on January 24, 1950. 2 days later, the Constitution of India became the law of the land. There were several critical issues debated, including language, rights, minorities, and government structures. On November 25, 1949, the day before the Constituent Assembly wound up its proceedings, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar made a moving speech.
First thing in my judgment we must do is to hold on to constitutional methods of achieving our social and economic objectives. It means we must abandon the bloody methods of revolution. It means that we must abandon the method of civil disobedience, non-cooperation, and satyagraha. Where constitutional methods are open, there can be no justification for these unconstitutional methods. These methods are nothing but the grammar of anarchy. And sooner they are abandoned, the better for us. The second thing we must do is to observe the caution which John Stuart Mill has given to all who are interested in the maintenance of democracy, namely, not to lay their liberties at the feet of even a great man, or to trust him with power which enables him to subvert their institutions. This caution is far more necessary in the case of India than in case of any other country. For in India, bhakti, or what may be called the path of devotion or hero worship, plays a part in its politics unequaled in magnitude by the part it plays in the politics of any other country in the world. The third thing we must do is not to be content with mere political democracy. These principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity are not to be treated as separate items in a trinity. Liberty cannot be divorced from equality. Equality cannot be divorced from liberty. Nor can liberty and equality be divorced from fraternity.
The preamble of our Constitution declares India as a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, assuring its citizens justice, equality, liberty, and endeavors to promote fraternity. The words secular and socialist were added to the preamble in 1976 during the emergency. The original 1950 Constitution is preserved in a helium-filled case at the Parliament House in New Delhi. It is the longest written constitution of any country on earth. It was influenced by other constitutions, like the concepts of liberty, equality, and fraternity were taken from the French Constitution, the directive principles were taken from Ireland, the laws on which the Supreme Court functions were taken from Japan. Today, as we celebrate this day, it is imperative for us to remember our responsibility to uphold the values of our Constitution that laid down the foundation to the making of this great nation.